David Soto back with you. It is 8:11 on this Thursday edition. Let me live on KOWB, and I'm joined in studio right now by University of Wyoming head tennis coach Dean Clower, kind enough to join me as we talk a little bit about the Vets at the Nets event that'll be happening on Saturday, June 23rd, so just 2 days away. Good morning. How are you today?
Good, David. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate the time. Hopefully Corey Jenkins, a veteran from the U.S. Navy, will be joining us. But this is the second straight year that you guys are doing this. I remember talking with you and Corey about it last year, and just a great way to kind of give back and introduce maybe a little bit of a stress-free activity for some of the veterans. Talk a little bit about kind of just coming in and coming on and doing this for a second straight year, and kind of the impetus behind it a little bit.
Mainly it's just, let's have some fun. Let's let the vets and their families come out, introduce us to some tennis, have some barbecue, and maybe give them an activity to do outside of whatever their normal routine is, or get their kids involved, or their wives or families. Whatever we can to do to make things a little better. And
it sounds like you got a full day of activities, because you're going to be doing some teaching and having some instruction, and then there's a lunch, and then maybe a little bit of open play after that, it sounds like, and a raffle going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be constant, I guess, entertaining, you could say. We'll start early in the morning with some teaching techniques, stuff like that. Then we'll go into some drills and games and prize giveaways, and then, after let the vets play a little bit with some of the community.
Talk a little bit about, speaking of your program's involvement. You involve all your assistants, players that are still around here. How much fun do you guys have with this?
It's a blast. Anybody who's involved with my program was going to be there. So I should say our program, not mine, but from assistants, equipment managers to ball kids, the water boys, everybody's going to be there.
All right. So again, this starts at 9 a.m. The good news is this is free of charge, no registration. You don't even have to bring anything but yourself. All that they're asking is that you wear light-soled tennis shoes. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, you just show up, sign up, and have some fun from 9 to 2, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Just coming out, we got everything you need.
All right. Joining us also is a veteran from the United States Navy. Corey Jenkins is in studio with us this morning. And Corey, appreciate you coming in and talking a little bit about this. Talk about your involvement in this event, and just kind of how it's you've seen a little bit of a benefit for veterans as kind of a ease of the stress type of activity, the Vets at the Nets program, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, tennis is a great activity. I mean, it's something that it's a lifetime sport that you can enjoy. I've played with people that are in their 80s, and there's people in their 90s that play tennis, and so it's a lifetime event. Great benefits, social, certainly mental, physical, all sorts of benefits that you get from tennis. But yeah, my involvement really began, certainly I'm a tennis player, although Coach may argue that a little bit. I'm not a very good tennis player, but I try, certainly. But I enjoy tennis, but I also work at the University of Wyoming for the Wyoming Institute for Disabilities, and we have a grant with the Veterans Administration to provide sports programming for veterans and active duty service members. And so, after I met Coach and got to know him, we got together and decided that we would try this Vets at the Nets and do this for veterans, to get them out and to learn and enjoy the game of tennis.
How do you think the first year went, and how do you, I guess, maybe build on it here into year two?
Yeah, I mean, the first year was really, really good. We did it in the spring, which, as we all know, in Laramie is very questionable, and unfortunately we had a big snowstorm the day before the event, and so the roads were all closed to and from Laramie on the day of the event. So we just were able to kind of get the veterans here locally. We did also do one later in the year, in the summer, in Cheyenne, and we got a lot of veterans there, including some folks from the Veterans Hospital in Cheyenne. And so
nice.
We're doing it this summer, hopefully we won't have a weather issue, and so we know that we're going to have a lot of folks coming from Cheyenne and out of town, as well as the local veterans here in Albany County.
Great to see, great to see. What type of, I guess, ease of stress do you see when you look at veterans? Because different situations for different veterans, but can this kind of be a way to just kind of relax and ease maybe some of the tensions that they have in their day-to-day life a little bit, Corey?
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't often know what a lot of these veterans are going through or what they've been through, and some of their disabilities may not be physical, and we just don't know. And that event that we did in Cheyenne, there was a group that came over from the Veterans Hospital, and when they first got there, it was kind of forced entertainment for them, forced fun. When they got there, you kind of looked on their faces, they didn't really want to be there. But Coach And his staff, they're wonderful about getting out on the courts. And, you know, by the time they were done, they were all having fun, smiles on their faces. One of the directors over there says that there was one young lady in particular who hadn't smiled in a long time, and she was smiling and beaming. And in fact, the next time they had some free time, they asked them what they wanted to do, and they said they all wanted to go play tennis. And so, so they got a lot out of it, and it's just a wonderful activity for them.
Yeah, and U.S. Tennis Association wheelchair tennis expert Frank Adams is also going to be on hand to coach some of the participants in wheelchairs, and that can be, you know, there can be some disabilities, as you talked about. You work with that Disabilities Institute. How big is that? Just, you know, having somebody who's in a similar situation help out some of these vets going through that and living life in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I think anytime you can model something like that, especially somebody who's confined to a wheelchair, and yet they can still come out and enjoy the game. Mm-hmm. You know, I've never seen the wheelchair tennis before, but I hear it's just absolutely amazing. Looking forward to Frank and the demonstration that he's going to give us. So it should be pretty neat. This
is 9 to 2 at the University of Wyoming outdoor tennis courts on Saturday. We're talking with University of Wyoming tennis coach Dean Clower, and then a veteran from the Navy, Corey Jenkins. Vets at the Nets, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, free of charge. No registration is required. If you are a veteran in the listening audience, you know of a veteran, bring them on down to this event on Saturday from 9 to 2. All the equipment is going to be provided, and the sign-up begins at 9, and then some teaching will take place shortly after that. Coaching and instruction provided by Coach Clower, his assistants and players, and then there's a barbecue lunch with some open play for those wishing to play some more tennis until 2 o'clock on Saturday. Good news is weather looks pretty good for you guys. At least some sunshine in the morning. We know that clouds can roll in, but hopefully not before 2 o'clock. Dean, talk a little bit about, I'll come back to you here real quick, just talk a little bit about the involvement and what you guys try to do on a day like this when you're, you know, trying to teach a game of tennis to some folks that may not know much about the game.
It's pretty simple. You just get them out hitting, you just get them out playing. You know, you let them know how much fun it is, and you don't have to be good to play tennis, you don't have to be bad to play tennis, you can play no matter what. So it's more about the fun, the excitement, the attitude around everything, the feel of the community.
How do you go about, you know, kind of doing a little bit of instruction to introduce them to a game like this? Is it just a lot of, hey, let's just go for it, hands-on type of things?
You start out showing the right grips real quick. Okay. You know, 5-10 minutes is the right grip for forehand, backhand, overhead. And then you kind of let them play to start. Then while they're playing, you kind of make adjustments while they're hitting. But it's irrelevant how good or bad you are.
What's been the reaction of your staff and players that have been involved with this last year in terms of, you know, now coming back here for year 2? What was their reaction to seeing the enjoyment of the veterans last year?
It's been a blast. Like Corey's talked about the one in Cheyenne. All my staff kept talking about was how the attitudes changed within 2 hours from the guys and girls from the Veterans Hospital to how it was at the end, and so you could see in their faces how much fun they had giving back to those people. It's easy to do again.
Prizes up for grabs. Sounds like you got some great raffle prizes on tap this weekend as well.
Got a ton of good stuff, voluntary stuff, Stan Smith stuff. I'm going to auction off a free tennis lesson with me and one of my assistants. And you know, I might even put Corey on the line. If somebody wins a prize, they get to hit balls at Corey. He doesn't know that yet, though.
Corey, are you up for that, by the way? I don't want to.
Yeah, sure. Sure, if they want to chase a lot of balls, absolutely. Yeah, so can I just mention a few of our other sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it, Nick.
Yeah, so I'd just like to thank, you know, the Butcher Block, and these are local businesses who, of course, step up and donate and support in the community here. The Butcher Block is providing some boogers for the barbecue, the Benton Rusty, Altitude Chop House and Brewery, Pine Beach, Security First Bank. You know, Coach mentioned we have a couple unique donors. You know, Nick Voluntary Academy, who has trained many of the game's great tennis players over the years. He and Stan Smith, who is a Grand Slam champion and Hall of Fame tennis player. Both of those gentlemen are both veterans, I should say, U.S. Army veterans, and they both stepped up and are sending some giveaways, I guess, some door prizes for some of the veterans. Also, I'd like to thank Coach Clower and UW Tennis, his staff and players, the United States Tennis Association, Wyoming, and then, of course, the Cheyenne and Laramie tennis communities. I mean, those communities are helping to support this, coming out and playing with the veterans, and also bringing some food to help feed everybody the barbecue. So
yeah, there's some great tennis folks across this community and across Southeast Wyoming. There really is, and that helps out. Kind of helps to once you build that camaraderie to keep things going.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Of course, we'd like to thank you and KOWB for letting us put the word out.
Absolutely, glad to help out. We'll have a video recap of this interview in case folks missed any of it on our websites later on today. So, guys, anything else before I let you go? I think we've got most of the bases covered. Anything else, Dean, here real quick?
No, big thanks to you, KOWB, and our fans, our community. Let's get out and support these vets and bring as many veterans and their families as possible.
Yeah. If you're a veteran or you know of some veterans, invite them out. This is a free event from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They do have a lot of fun. It started up last year. Best of luck in year 2, guys. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.